Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time a week again.
It's podcast day.
It is. It's the regular Tuesday, guys. Episode 5 of the TO Sports Talk podcast. I'm your host, James Price, along with Evan Brown. How's it going, bud?
Not bad.
Always.
It's always good. Tuesdays are always good. Tuesday mornings. We're here. We're in the studio, and we're about to talk Toronto sports.
But I got to admit, it's been really stressful lately as Toronto sports fans, really breaking it down. Mm-hmm. The Jays, you never know what you're going to see. Well, the Leafs lose to Buffalo last night. And the Raptors, they just really haven't been playing well. So it's kind of a weird spot right now for Toronto sports. Obviously, we're going to start with the Toronto Raptors, and I think they've lost 3 of their last 5. The defense has been awful. Yeah. They just really, they've been averaging giving up 114 a game or something like that. So their season average is 104 or 106.
It hasn't been good at all, and this is what I kind of wanted to talk about with the whole Raptors situation, is that you wonder why the league doesn't take the Raptors seriously or have any respect for the Raptors at all. I feel like right now the team's just, sitting back. Oh, we got first place in the East. Oh, we're good to go, You lose against the Clippers.
And Boston wins against Sacramento. And then Boston plays the Phoenix Suns yesterday, and they beat them. So now they're only 3 points back. Or 3 games back.
The Raptors underestimate their opponent, and they get smashed.
Yeah. Well, I got to admit, though, over the season, the Raptors have been very good with teams out of the playoffs. But at this point in the year...
And this is the worst time to go on a losing streak, is going into the playoffs. You know what I mean, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, and I look at it as... I think all Raptor fans look at it as, okay, we're first in the East. We know we're making the playoffs. We know we're getting top 2. Nonetheless, you're getting home court in the first round. You want first place, yes, but at 4.5 games, it looked locked up. But the Los Angeles Clippers, they're 10th place in the West, but they're right there. So they're trying to fight for their playoff lives. A team the Raptors are playing tonight in Denver, they're 9th. They're fighting too. So the Raptors are going to get their best punch.
And plus, with the Raptors, it doesn't mean much of the regular season anymore. It means more the playoffs because, okay.
But I think that's what the players are thinking.
And that's what's the problem, because not to the extent, but the Raptors are in the same situation as Washington. Again, Washington's but great regular season, but they just can't perform in the playoffs. And right now, it's not about the regular season. It is, and you still have to focus on the regular season, but it's about getting past those teams that you struggled hard against in the playoffs. And that's why this whole league, outside of Canada, Toronto, don't respect the Raptors, or don't, they're still going to fizzle out in the third round. First
off, a lot of teams don't get to the third round.
I'm just saying,
especially with the way these conferences
or even second round.
Yeah. A lot of these conferences right now are.
But with the team we have now, we should contend for a championship.
The way we've seen it most of this year, I couldn't agree more. But the thing I got to say is, it could be JV, Serge, DeMar, and Kyle. They've been through all this before.
And the bench.
They're bored now, and that's what we've heard. But
you got to take care of business.
The play of the bench against the Clippers
was horrible.
Was god awful.
It was, yeah.
Your best bench guy, I think, was Siakam at a -9 on the floor. The Clippers,
that's not the bench mob we've seen throughout the year.
The Clippers started the fourth quarter on a 16-2 run. Mm-hmm. That's not the way you want to start the fourth.
Serge Ibaka, 5 for 12 in field goal percentage.
Yeah, that was in the last game against the Clippers.
Last game against the Clippers.
But I've noticed with him, and a lot of people talking about Damari Carroll and Patrick Patterson and guys like that. Why do I mention those guys? Because they were the type of players to get their wide open looks and not knock them down.
You got to knock it down.
Now, we've seen from Serge at points where he gets on a crazy streak and he's knocking down everything, but for the most part, and especially as of late, he really has not been taking. He's not shooting the 3 well enough. No. Now,
but are you looking for him to shoot the 3? Are you looking to
Well, clearly he wants to shoot the 3 because I've seen him shoot 4 threes a game.
But, but clearly it's not working. Right. And if it's not working and he's not feeling it, I don't understand his mentality. All right, well, why are you going to shoot? Sure, it's an open 3. But you're ice cold. So why wouldn't you...
I get you want to break out of it. I know that.
And you have to break out of it, and the only way to break out of it is to fight and to keep,
Right. But he can't fight himself. No. And I think that's the problem with Norman Powell.
Yeah.
He's fighting himself. Like
because it was confidence issues for him.
Absolutely. Because you look at what he's done for the last few years. He's a big energy guy, and he brings a lot of energy on defense, leads to offense. He gets out and runs, and they get quick scores. What we've seen a lot from Norman Powell this year is when he knocks down a three, and we're like, all right, here he comes. This is the Norman Powell we know.
And then he misses the next two.
The next down the possession, he tries almost an impossible play. I remember, I think it was against Indiana. I'm not sure if it was against Indiana or not. He took a three, knocked it down. Next possession, he tries to dribble literally through two guys, turns the ball over. And I'm like,
it's getting to his head, and that's just the image, He's
got to stay within himself. Be hard on defense.
He's a sophomore in the NBA?
Oh, no, he's been a few years now. It's been like, 3 years now or something.
Okay,
2 or 3 years or something like that for Norman Powell. But
that's just all about just getting used to the whole NBA thing.
Everyone's talking about...
And in college, you can do that, sure, but...
Of course.
But in the NBA, no, you gotta take a step back. Okay, I'm still human. I'm still, and not try to these impossible, around two players and try to deke out the whole team. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and OG Anunoby is another guy. I mean, obviously he came back from his injury not too long ago, so they're still trying to groom him back heading into the playoffs. But I think he could be a big factor in the playoffs. I mean, you saw against LeBron James how he got eaten alive, but you got to think of it this way: that was his second game back from injury. Mm-hmm. And you're taking on LeBron James. It's not easy.
No.
I mean, it's not easy for him, and the whole team had troubles with that guy, with LeBron that night.
But when you barely beat the scrappy Brooklyn Nets by...
Well, that's what we're saying, right? Yes, we won 3 of our last 5, but you go against, or I think it was Orlando, or a little while ago, one of their wins. Mm-hmm. They just barely beat Orlando. The offense wasn't going. You won 93-86. Yeah. That's a scrappy game, a hard defensive game. The offense wasn't cooking.
Yeah, you beat them, but was it pretty? No, and that's what scares me about this team.
You go to the Oklahoma City game, you got 43 points in the first quarter.
And I think that loss is still in their head, even though last podcast I said you got to just,
It's difficult, because I think we mentioned how in baseball you have to have a quick memory.
Exactly, but good teams... They find
a way to just turn off that game.
In this team, I'm not sure if they do have that mentality.
Since that loss, since the streak-breaking loss that everyone says the refs befuddled, and I agree, and Russell Westbrook making the calls for them, and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, you play a scrappy game against Brooklyn or against Orlando. You face Brooklyn, you get a win, but man, it was a grind.
And then you lose.
To Cleveland, and then you lose to the Clippers. 3 of your last 5, and in those, in all of those games except for the Orlando game, your defense was trash, and in that game, your offense wasn't going.
No.
So they're in a weird spot right now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Raptor fans tonight's going to be a statement game. Mm-hmm. Because you're playing, like I said, a desperate Denver Nuggets team. They're 9th place in the West. They're right there in contention. They're trying to push into the playoff spot.
And right now...
Yeah, the Raptors just lost, obviously, to another playoff.
And plus, right now, Denver has the overall... what's the word I'm looking for here?
Season series or something?
Well, no. They have the momentum. They have greater momentum than the Raptors right now because they're fighting for a playoff spot. And the Raptors are still... Exactly. And the Raptors don't necessarily have much to play for other than first place, which is nice. But Denver has more to play for, so that means they're going
to be more desperate.
They're going to... Yeah.
They're going to come out flying.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I'm a Raptor fan, but I wouldn't be surprised if they end up losing. I don't want it to happen.
And
but
if you think about that, if God forbid, if they do lose to Denver, right after today, you head to Boston and then you head to Cleveland.
You don't want to go inside That's
a big 3-game stretch. Let's say the Raptors win today. And they keep their 3-game lead over Boston.
Yeah.
Then you go into Boston, and you beat Boston. You get your 4-game lead back, and there's, 6-7 games left? That's more of a cushion than 3... let's say, God forbid we lose today and lose to Boston. We could have a 1-game lead heading into that game.
And against Cleveland.
And then against Cleveland, in Cleveland, we already saw that happened.
It's a tough stretch, but the Raptors have to take care of business against these teams that are barely over 500. Like the Clippers, like Denver. Barely beat Brooklyn, so I don't know what it is with this team.
Look, they're in a weird stretch, but they got to find a way to get out of it before the playoffs.
Yeah, because nobody wants to see them going a losing streak into the playoffs. That is just
because going into the playoffs like this, facing Milwaukee, no thanks,
or even Miami for that matter. Any team, You don't want to face any team going into a losing.
This is why the NBA is so different from the NHL. You have all these, big teams that win, like the Raptors even, who are 54-20, and then you get the Houston Rockets who have lost 14 games on the year, and then you get Golden State who's only lost 19. And those are a lot of wins within those teams. And then you look at the bottom feeding teams who have not even 20 wins, and that's why it's a really weird jump. Because if you look probably in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, you have these really bad teams, and then you bang this big jump to like some mediocre.
Well, the East
teams.
is already set. The East is already set.
Oh yeah,
because
you
look at Miami,
place.
and then after that you look at Detroit.
And how far is Detroit back from Miami? How many games back? What do they say here? 5 games. Yeah, that's not really a dogfight for a playoff spot.
It's mainly just where Miami and Milwaukee switch between each other, and even Washington too, right?
And the great news for Raptor fans, well, we don't have to see Philadelphia in the first round. That's pretty much guaranteed.
Or Indiana, guaranteed. So it's mainly between.
I don't want to see Washington.
The Wizards.
I don't want to see the Wizards.
No. And it's not where they finish. I feel like it's where we finish at this time. Because let's just say that we dropped a second. All right, so then we're facing Milwaukee. And
as of right now, it's so tight it can change at any point.
It is tight, but
bottom
I'm not
line,
worried about let's just say Miami winning. I'm afraid of us losing. Going down to second or third place.
I still believe this team can do it.
Well,
but they just got to believe in themselves to get first place. I think. Look, they have a 3.5 game lead with 8 games left.
Can they?
Yeah. You just got to take care of it. Down the stretch, I think the Raptors have a fairly after the 3 games against Cleveland, Boston, and then Boston, Cleveland, Boston.
Yeah.
After those 3 games, I'd say the schedule is kind of favorable for the Raptors. Yes, you have Indiana, a good team, but then you get Orlando, Detroit, and Miami to end the season. 2 of those 3 teams are beatable teams.
But, dude, beatable teams, yes, but this is why nobody respects the Raptors, because they think, oh, we're facing this team that's below or barely over 500. Oh, we're just going to sleep. We're just going to sleep. And
this team's got to come out flying every game.
And then the media, especially ESPN, First Take, Undisputed, is all going to have a field day when the Raptors do end up, God forbid, what happens in the playoffs with them.
Look, bottom line, I think for the Raptor fans right now, we cannot look forward to the playoffs right now. We got to look forward to clinching first place. Once you do that, okay, rest DeMar, rest Serge, JV. Then you do that because you can't go anywhere.
But right now you're still in a dogfight with Boston.
Right, and they're a good team. Yeah. They're injured to all heck, and they're still crawling up the standings towards the Raptors. That's just that.
And nobody really substantial is injured for the Raptors.
No.
And that kind of scares me because Boston's such a good team without, like you said,
without Kyrie and
obviously Hayward.
Hayward is hard to tell because he hasn't been with the team all year.
He's out for the entire year.
I think Rozier, is out, or Marcus
Smart, and that's about it.
Okay, so they have some guys back, but
still, Boston's an extremely tough team to because we split the season series with them. Pretty sure.
Right now it's 1 apiece. Yeah. And then you go to Boston, where you lost your first 95-94. That was earlier in the year.
Hopefully, we don't go into Boston on a losing streak.
Yeah, I don't want to go into Boston having lost 4 of 6.
No, that's why we have to take care of Denver Nuggets.
A lot of Raptor fans. People are just looking ahead to that Boston game, or looking ahead to the next Cleveland. You can't get past Denver. You have to find a way to get this victory. You can't look past them.
These are key matchups against Boston against the Raptors, but take care of business first.
Yeah.
Take care of business first. Worry about the Nuggets. Worry about the scrappy teams that are fighting for a playoff spot. Just don't worry about the big Cavs, Celtics. Worry about those teams first, because if you beat those teams and you lose to the Celtics, that's huge that you actually beat Denver.
Yeah.
Because if you lost to Denver and then, okay, we're all focused on Boston, and then you lose against Boston, well, then you just lost 6.
You're on a row now. They're right up your butt now at that point.
So that's why Denver is just as important as Boston. Any game is at this matter.
Oh,
at this time,
of course. The good news for Raptor fans, the Boston actually plays an all right team coming up. They play Utah.
The Jazz.
Utah's been playing some great basketball. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell. When we saw him in Toronto, he was nuts.
Yeah.
They're playing great basketball. So maybe if the Raptors can win today and Boston can lose tomorrow, hopefully that'll be back up to 4.5.
Bottom line is, take care of business. don't keep sleeping. I don't know what the
team's
Raptors were doing.
Look, if the Raptors take care of business and win their games, they're first place.
This is kind of the reason I question Dwayne Casey as a coach, because I don't know what he's telling them. Hopefully he's giving them heck in the locker room, heck, giving them hard practices, because this has happened in the past.
Well, I know I said it.
And then the players can, they're in a slump, and the coach is the person to get them out of that slump.
And I know I said this in my in the Cleveland video, because I noticed it, and I was really baffled by his move.
Oh no, it wasn't the rage video.
No, but Pascal Siakam was as much as LeBron James ripped up the Raptors, Siakam probably did the best job out of anybody holding him back.
And you can only hold back the king for so many plays.
Yes, but with about 4 minutes left, Siakam comes out and Serge Ibaka goes in.
Was he in foul trouble?
No, and that's the problem. Because then right after that, he fouls LeBron taking a three.
Wait, sorry, Siakam came out and who came in for him?
Serge Ibaka.
That's a.
I thought we've learned over the last little while that Coach Casey rides the hot hand. So, you don't make that change.
Well, look at the Lucas Nogueira situation, right?
Right.
He didn't ride the hot hand, and I feel like
against Oklahoma City,
against OKC, and Dwayne Casey has always been kind of known for not going with the hot hand on the bench rather than keeping with his starters. And I do agree with that because, like you said, what happens if they keep Pascal Siakam out there for too long and then he misses, a couple shots? Oh, well, we had him out there for too long. Why didn't they?
So everyone's going to complain. But
the safe bet is to do what Dwayne Casey did is to not ride the hot hand and just go to your reliable starter, quote unquote, to Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, but you look what he did. He was out there for 2 plays and he missed a wide open 3 and fouled LeBron taking a 3 to get him 3 free throws. And then he struggled off the court, and here comes Siakam back on the court. I just didn't make sense at all.
No, and this is what Dwayne Casey has to realize is maybe it's not working. Maybe it's not working. Throwing in a bench guy who's making all these shots and then not riding with the hot hand and going back to a starter.
Yeah, I think.
And I don't think he was tired at all or in foul trouble. He was fine out there.
I personally think Norman Powell might get a bigger role coming up.
Well, this is
just because this team is playing. You want that spark, and Norman Powell can do it.
And again, going back to last year's playoffs, we all going off about why isn't Dwayne Casey playing Norman Powell more? Because he's set in his rotation with the whole starters.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if a bench guy's hot. Dwayne Casey has that mentality. He's not going to play him for over a certain amount of minutes, even if he's, and I don't know if I agree with that. That's why I question Dwayne Casey in his coaching skills.
Okay, well, with that being said, question for you. Is Coach Casey going to win Coach of the Year? Obviously Brad Stevens in Boston is an option. There's tons of other ones.
You have to look at the players around the team, and I think he'll get nominated.
You don't think
I don't. It depends how far we go in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
It depends because if we fizzle out in the second, even third round again, no. If we make it to the finals, possibly.
Yeah,
possibly. But for right now, as a regular season team, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's close regular season wise, but I don't think Dwayne Casey. He gets nominated for sure, but I don't think he'll. No.
I personally think that he's going to be a legit chance.
He's going to be a legit chance.
But I think, like you said, I think it's going to be what he does down the stretch and what this team does down the stretch, and then into the playoffs. What happens? That'll decide for me. Who gets Coach of the Year? That's just that. Because
he was coach for the Raptors. This is his 5th year?
Something like that. He's been around a while.
He's made steps, but he hasn't got over the hump. And to win Coach of the Year, you have to get over the hump and at least make the finals.
And that hump is LeBron James.
Yeah, and making it to the finals. Because let's just say that LeBron James fizzles out, God forbid, fizzles out in the second round or first round against, I don't know, what. Washington or whoever, right? You have nobody stopping you. We have no trouble beating the Boston Celtics. We have more trouble with LeBron James and the Cavs than, again, we haven't faced the Celtics in the playoff series ever, I don't think. But, no, if LeBron James fizzles out in the first or second round and we make it past the second round and we're facing, I don't know, let's just say Boston in the finals, that's a blessing for us.
Yeah, and I think what we got to look forward to, especially going into tonight's game, is
proving the haters.
It's really just having the bench play a good game. You know, we know what the bench mob has done all season. We've seen them get in lulls. So I, especially after that really tough game against the Clippers, you want them to bounce back. You want those bench guys to Serge Ibaka, JV, all those guys in the Clipper game. They weren't all that bad.
And for them to bounce back, you have to realize, maybe put Serge Ibaka on the spot and Dwayne Casey having a conversation with Serge and be like, okay, if you're not performing this much, we're going to substitute you, and then put somebody on the bench starting maybe against Boston. Put him in the hot seat a little bit, Serge Ibaka, to really realize.
I don't know if he's too comfortable in his spot.
And that's the reason why Serge might think, oh, I'm starting pretty much every game. I don't have to really, perform up to expectations. Dwayne Casey has to sit down with Serge Ibaka and be like, no, if you're not performing, you're on the hot seat, my friend.
But will Coach Casey do that? Probably not.
I think he should, though.
He should, but will he? I don't know.
And that's where I question his.
And you really don't want to try and move things around too much.
But you have to change something. You have to change something.
I think
it's not pretty for Raptor fans right now. Again, I don't know if we're being a little too picky, but I don't think we are.
I personally think that if the Raptors lose tonight to Denver, something's got to change, whatever it may be.
Maybe the
whether that be OG getting in the start, or not OG, Norman Powell getting in the starting lineup just to shake things up and see what happens because he's a big energy guy in big games. I don't know. This team, they're good enough to be first in the Eastern Conference.
And maybe give Pascal Siakam the start over Serge if it needs to be. If Serge is struggling that much, Dwayne Casey has to step in and change the culture a little bit.
Right. Well, Siakam also didn't play very well against the Clippers either. No. So it's
just, the whole team.
Really. It's just been a weird stretch. And also Kyle and DeMar did nothing.
But you can't rely on those two guys. But they haven't for the whole season, so they do have to step up when needed because the bench has all season has been unreal. So
and there's been a few games where obviously DeMar goes off and Kyle goes off and that kind of thing. But you just want those guys to do their thing. And something that really caught my eye in the Clippers game is the 16 turnovers, and that's not good.
It's inexcusable.
You can't do that. The Raptors are one of the best teams at not turning the ball over.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I just think this team can. If they take care of business today, Raptor fans can breathe a little bit.
A tad.
But if it's a good game. If you win 120 to 117, there's not much... we're still going to be feeling the same way.
Yeah.
But if you win 115, 102, or something along those lines, that's better. It makes us feel much, much better.
For sure. Now switching over to the good old 76ers. What did you think of Markelle Fultz making his return to the Philadelphia 76ers? 14 minutes played, 10 points, 4 rebounds. What do you
didn't expect him to play this year. I didn't.
They always say he's available to play, but they never do play him. But they're doing fine without him. Has he looked like he's the first, a first overall pick? We all know how Ball's been struggling on the Lakers there. But what do you feel about Markelle Fultz?
Well, I don't think he's played enough to say how he is and how good he is. I think he's a very good-looking player.
And they're worried about his jump shot. If you've
seen
his jump shot,
it's really awkward.
The form's not there. But you showed him, again, college is completely different
from
Lonzo.
The NBA. His form's all freaky, too.
But like you say, Lonzo's struggling as well. So, and I don't know. But you know what? Good for him. He finally... Because it seems like every player the 76ers draft gets injured their first year. Or is completely,
Ben
Joel
Embiid.
Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
There's probably somebody else. I think... Was it Michael Carter? I don't know who it was, but
Michael Carter Williams won Rookie of the Year in his rookie year,
and look where he is now.
Yeah, well,
Chicago bench. I don't even.
Charlotte.
Oh yeah, you're right. He's on. He was on Milwaukee. He was on the Bulls. But I don't know. But and I'm just reading this now. LiAngelo Ball is declaring for the 2018 NBA draft. Where do you think he'd go?
Oh God. Well, you know what his dad's gonna say.
Lakers, and it's going to be a conspiracy theory if the Lakers do, because I don't. It's hard to say if he's going to be a. Okay, let's just say that the Lakers, again, they missed the playoffs, whatever.
Yeah.
They pick 14th.
Okay,
Would you draft LiAngelo Ball up 14th overall? To play with his brother.
Oh my gosh! Well, you know what? Like I said, his dad's gonna put all these guys in the hot seat.
I know, but what's Luke Walton gonna do? What's the GM? they discuss.
Yeah.
But what's the GM of the Lakers going to do? What's Luke Walton going to do? What's all them in Los Angeles going to do? Are they going to? I don't think he's a first rounder.
Well, I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, man. I mean, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna stop hearing it until next year starts.
I kind of wanted to play on the on the Raptors just to get some more notice for the Raptors, quote unquote. But we don't even have a first rounder this year, so
Nope. There you go.
I don't think he'll go in the second round, but late first. But I don't think the Lakers. You never know. The Lakers might try.
You never really know. You really don't.
Nope.
And it's going to be very interesting to tell.
No, I thought the Lakers had somebody else's pick, but I don't know. I thought the 76ers had is it the Lakers pick?
I'm not sure. There's so many darn draft picks traded around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all a bunch of craziness. But I don't know. I mean,
I'll just
like
quickly look at the.
To get the Ball brothers playing together. I mean,
That'd be unreal.
It would be, but would LiAngelo be good enough?
He's looked okay in Lithuania, right?
In Lithuania. Yeah,
he's playing with men though,
right? But he's also playing with his brother.
And they say his brother. It's yeah, his brother has more talent than.
Right. So
out of the three, he's
it's Lonzo, LaMelo, and then LiAngelo. Yeah.
Yeah, LiAngelo definitely is not.
I mean, only time will tell.
Only time will tell, but I'm just kind of shocked that he's declaring, because he could wait easily another year and get better in Lithuania. So I'm kind of surprised why he's.
He just wants to get to the NBA. I mean, that's just superstardom. That's just what you're not going to be a superstar in Lithuania. And I mean, you could be, but really, it's not going to be. It's not going to be a big thing.
Okay, so the Lakers are in a position because they have the they have the 22nd. I know it's not their pick. I don't know whose pick it is. 22nd. That is Cleveland's first. So they have Cleveland's first rounder for this year.
That was probably in the Isaiah Thomas trade.
Probably, because I know that the Lakers didn't have their own pick. But anyway, so 22nd, it's a possibility. It's a possibility that they pick him up at the 22nd pick, and that would be something special, right?
Yeah.
But again, with the whole with the whole stealing thing from his college, right?
Oh, yeah.
He got, that's all a different topic. But
last thing I want to touch on,
yes,
it's Raptors edition kind of thing. The last two games, Jakob Poeltl has really not either performed well or played. Period.
Okay.
In the last game, I think it was a -14 on the floor. Didn't really, wasn't playing the best defense.
Yeah.
And most of those minuses, especially for the bench themselves, were in the fourth quarter to start.
Right.
And you look at the last game, he played 9 minutes. Or was it 7 minutes and a -9 on the floor?
He's been struggling. And
I think a game like this, right before a big stretch, is going to show us a lot.
But are you really going to rely on Jakob Poeltl?
Why not? He's been terrific all year.
No, he has. But I feel like Dwayne Casey again is set on his rotation.
Well, I don't know. See, there's times where he does that.
See, and I think he's a little biased because you look at Serge and how he's been struggling, and you keep playing him, but then Poeltl's struggling.
You're playing him. You're paying him to play. Yeah. You're not just going to bench him.
And and you traded him, and you traded a first and Terrence Ross to acquire him.
Yeah.
So, and then Poeltl, you draft, but he's been struggling, and Dwayne Casey did not give him
really the time of day. Struggling for two games, and Jakob Poeltl's just been a beast all season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to be nice to see if the bench can really take over this game against Denver. If they can, and they get back into their groove, it'll be nice heading into Boston.
But if they can't, you need DeMar and Kyle to step up.
Yeah.
And they have been stepping up. But
because a lot of teams are doubling them and making other guys beat them. Like a guy like Serge Ibaka, but he's not knocking down his wide open shots. No. JV is. This guy's been huge.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Only time will tell.
Yeah. So we're going to move on from the court to the ice. And the Leafs, if you guys saw my video yesterday, the Leafs lose to Buffalo again. And I think you and I both and Leaf fans in general are sick and tired of it.
I'm completely. I would rather, like you said in your video, I would rather face Boston or Tampa over Buffalo. Yep. We have to face them one more time. You know what's funny about the Buffalo Sabres is that they're dead last by 3 points in the league. That's horrendous. They have 60 points, but they look and
when they play the Leafs,
I don't necessarily think that we looked bad last night. They just looked good. Like, I don't know if it's the whole rivalry thing. I don't
However,
know.
the Leafs, I gotta say, they did outplay Buffalo quite a bit.
Look at the shots.
The Leafs were plus 14 in the face-off dot. The Leafs were like, what? They were 54%.
That fourth line for the Leafs, though, tearing things up. Plekanec is looking better.
Because they're using their speed. They're fast. They're
Exactly.
going.
Because what Plekanec has, he may not have the size. For a 35-year-old, he's still got the legs. He's still he can still move. And then you have Janssen and Kapanen. I love that fourth line.
Speaking of legs, Patrick Marleau. I mean, I don't know.
How old is he again? How old is he again?
23.
No,
I mean, he acts like it. You know, I forgot which
going back.
the Kadri goal. The beautiful backhand saucer pass from Patrick Marleau.
That was on Saturday night. That was against the Red Wings.
I mean, you look at that play. Did you see him flying down the right wing?
Great pass, and I don't care what you say. He knocked that out of midair. Kadri saucered it over. I think it was Luke Witkowski.
No, yeah, and Patrick Marleau did. Not Kadri. He said Kadri sauced it over.
So yeah, my bad. Sorry. Marleau sauced it over Luke Witkowski. Kadri knocked it in midair.
Yeah, I mean
into the net. No, it was two beautiful plays, from two skilled players. What can you ask more for? But in the Detroit game, I didn't think we played good, but we got outshot by Detroit. Think about that for a sec.
Yeah.
And then we faced Buffalo. We looked better than them, and then we lose.
Freddie Anderson. He made some huge saves against Detroit.
But then the Jack Eichel goal to make it 3-2. I understand that was a pathetic play by Zaitsev. I don't know what he was doing there, but Freddie, you got to get his Jack Eichel top cheese backhand. You got to make those saves. Hug the post a little bit more. You know what I mean?
That's like I said in the video about.
That was short side, wasn't
Jonathan Bernier Jonathan Bernier back in the day.
Well, I kind of cringe when you make that. No. But I know what you mean.
Making the sporadic saves and can't make the routine ones,
or just let out these obvious rebounds.
Right. And the thing about Freddie Anderson, we've seen he's calm and collected. He makes his saves and he does some sporadic saves as well. But yesterday he made the big saves and the small ones couldn't really do it.
And we didn't rely on him at really much.
No, look at 27 shots.
It's weird because I feel like the game on Saturday against Detroit, we did not look good, and we got outplayed by Detroit. We still won that game. It was the other way around against Buffalo. We outplayed them. We outshot them. We just lost.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it doesn't matter about the standings. Same thing with Montreal. It doesn't matter about the standings with Buffalo. It's just going to be that rivalry, that type of mentality where Buffalo's going to come out fighting. They don't care.
It's like the Jays and the Rays. Yeah. The Rays look like awful.
Or even Baltimore.
Well, the Rays always look awful. Yeah. They're always a bad team. This year they're going to be even worse, but somehow the Blue Jays are going to have a losing record against these guys because it's the Jays and Rays. Yeah. And I think it goes to the same here with the Leafs and the Sabres. That's just what it is.
In Montreal, because we lost, before, I think it was last season we broke it. 13 games we lost against Montreal.
Yeah, because look how bad the Leafs have been over the past little while. And Montreal's been first in the Eastern Conference for a little bit.
I'm just saying, though, it's a rivalry game. Same thing with Detroit.
This is the other way around, though.
You don't look at You don't look at the standings, you look at the team. Buffalo's last, but Leaf fans were like, oh, easy win, Buffalo. Still the Buffalo Sabres, and they're still going to come up fighting.
They're still an NHL team.
Are they? No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
No, they are, and we have a history with them going back to the Ryan Miller days, how we couldn't beat him at all.
Well, this is not Ryan Miller, it's Chad Johnson.
And
big difference.
And Olmark as the backup, and Robin Lehner. I don't know why, but I feel like we struggle more with Chad Johnson than we do with
Robin Lehner. Absolutely.
Because we lit up Robin Lehner last year multiple times. Right?
Yep.
So, I don't know what it is to do with this Leaf team. They look good. I wouldn't be concerned.
No, I'm not concerned.
I'm more concerned about the Raptors than I am about the Leafs, but still have not clinched. A playoff spot yet. We will.
Yeah, it'll be in the next game or so.
But it's just kind of, I just want to see that X next to their name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because then you get that sure factor, bang, we're in the playoffs. That's what you want, right?
Did Tampa win last night? They faced Arizona. Let me just check that out.
They were losing when I last checked.
I completely forgot that game was on. Well, Tampa Bay lost 4-1 against Arizona, so I don't know what...
See what I'm saying? Probably Tampa fans are like, oh, how the heck do we lose to Arizona? They're an NHL team. It's not like the NBA where the Houston Rockets play the Orlando Magic and 100% it's going to be a victory.
I'm so scared because me and James talked about this on last week's podcast, the podcast after that. This was a question. I am horrified of Tampa Bay. They've made it to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years ago.
I mean,
missed the playoffs last year because of injury, straight injury. Stamkos was out, Kucherov was out for a long period of time.
they have Andrei Vasilevsky. Their defense core is nuts. They
unreal.
added McDonough. And then we know what that forward core is.
Oh, yeah.
They're nuts.
Yeah, and this team can make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't want to face them at all, and if Boston keeps winning and Tampa keeps losing, Boston's going to jump Tampa, and we face Tampa Bay on the road.
So bottom line, Boston is 2 points back of Tampa with 2 games in hand. I don't know what the season series is. I don't know any of that.
That scares the living daylights out of me. I do not want to face Tampa Bay, and I don't know why Tampa Bay. I don't think they're throwing their games because would you rather face the Leafs or what's it New Jersey? Who's in the?
Yeah.
I'd rather face New Jersey. So I don't know what their deal is.
They want to win games.
Doesn't look like it. They just lost 4-1 to one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, well,
and I think
the Leafs just lost to Buffalo.
Right, yeah.
So it's like,
but we have a history with Buffalo.
Well, we don't know what their history is against Arizona. I mean, there probably isn't much.
No, but it scares the living tar out of me, to be completely honest with you. Again, Boston's no walk in the park either. Don't get me wrong about that. But
no.
You would want to. We both. I think any Leaf fan would want to face Boston just for the revenge factor and the fact that
Tampa's offense scares it just scares
have
me.
we beat them this year at all?
Tampa, yes.
We beat them once, right?
Yes.
And then we lost, and that's when we blew the lead.
Yeah, but the Leafs can play with any team. That's the thing we got to realize.
They played under the competition. Or if it's against a rivalry team that's not good, like the Buffalo Sabres or the Detroit Red Wings, we end up struggling against them.
Well, you look what they do against Montreal. They flatten them.
Who?
The Leafs. They've flattened the Montreal over the past couple of games. They've won all 3 this year. And I
don't know what it is about the whole rivalry teams. Like, again, the whole Montreal thing. We beat them, we crushed them. Yeah. But with Buffalo, Detroit, we're just struggling. It's quite weird. We should beat those teams handily. With no one... Okay, Leo Komarov's injured. One of our best PK killers. Okay, whoop-de-doo.
Well, okay, there's no excuse. The Leafs
there is an excuse.
The Leafs didn't take a penalty last night.
With that being said, I'm pretty sure he's coming back soon, Leo Komarov.
I hope so.
Would you... There's only one player that you have to... And that's Andreas Janssen.
Yeah, I don't want him to go, but...
You'll look, and I think we need him back on the third line. Or wait, was he playing third line or fourth line time?
Wherever he's playing, you need him back.
No, because the penalty kill hasn't been... It's been okay, but with him out, it's kind of... You want him back for the playoffs, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. And if it doesn't work in game 1 or 2... Janssen, there you go. Throw him in.
Absolutely. And with the Marlies playing the way they are, you
don't necessarily need Janssen on the Marlies, but you would want him to be down there necessarily to, for that long playoff run.
I think it wouldn't be a bad thing for Janssen to go back down because he's had his NHL experience now.
And like I said, out of Kapanen, Dermott, and Janssen would be the player that the Leafs management would send down.
Look, I don't think Kapanen's going back to the AHL ever again.
I don't think so either.
Unless there's like some long playoff run for the Marlies and the Leafs get knocked out.
Or unless there's a knock-on-wood trade. That happens with Kasperi Kapanen.
Right.
But
I think if nothing changes, I think guys like Kapanen and Dermott, those guys. Look, I saw a stat yesterday. I don't know if you saw this thing, but it was I did not realize how good Travis Dermott actually was.
Like, is this Corsi or like what is this?
This is nuts.
Okay, what is it?
Travis Dermott, since he's been called up, the best plus-minus guy in the team, I forgot who it was, but whoever it was a +7.
I'm pretty sure, I'm
not sure exactly who it was. It might have been Jake Gardner or something like that, anyways.
No, Zaitsev is +12 right now.
I'm saying since Dermott's been up with the Leafs.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant in general. Okay.
That. So, whoever it was a +7. Travis Dermott, I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if he still is or not, but before the game, Travis Dermott with the Leafs was a +17.
Yeah. And again, you could say what you want about plus-minus and how it's a flawed stat, but that's something to look at. I don't totally agree with plus-minus, I'm not going to lie, but a +17.
That's a big number.
Yeah, it is a big number.
I don't know. This
say what you want about plus-minus, but no, that's definitely... For a rookie...
Dermott was a -1 today. Or last night against Buffalo.
That's something to look at, for sure. 100%. No, this... another second-round pick working out for us.
13 points in 33 games, and he's a plus 16.
Back in the last, since 2013, okay, I want to say 2013 to 2008. How many second-rounders worked out for the Leafs?
Not many at all.
I can't think of one. I can't think of a player other than Nazem Kadri that we developed.
Well, that guy's a top 10 pick. He darn well should develop, and that took forever.
Look at Stuart Percy. Look at Tyler Biggs. That's what I'm saying. This Leaf management over the last 3-4 years has night and day. Night and day with their draft picks, and we still have more coming up on the Marlies.
Yeah,
we still have more.
The funny thing is, because back when the Marlies had their best season ever, I don't know if they're on pace for that as well, but anyways, when they had Nylander, when they had Kapanen, when they had all these great young players on that core,
yeah.
Well, Kapanen and Nylander are gone. Who else has been called up since then? Dermott has been called up.
Connor Brown? No.
I think Connor Brown was on that team back then
Zach
as well.
Hyman?
Yeah. All these guys that have been Marley development projects
And
are
the
now
Leafs developed.
right, and are now on the Leafs, and the Marlies are still tearing it up. That
The
tells
thing
you
is
right
about the
there.
Marlies is that I can't remember our AHL team not having a winning season. I can't remember it. Even back in like the days where we had,
Mike Zigomanis.
Mike, like
Yeah.
29, 30-year-olds on the Marlies that could be fringe NHL, third, fourth liners, but we're tearing it up on the Marlies. Even then, I can't remember. That's why the Leafs farm team has been unreal for the last 10 years.
Yeah, something like that.
And now it's showing that it's all youngsters down there. Sure, you have the veteran guy, I forget his name. It's something Mueller.
Peter Mueller, Marcel Mueller,
No, it's
Peter
some
Mueller. I don't know, something Mueller.
Yeah. Again, like you have these Ben Smith, Colin Greening's guy, but then you have a Timothy Liljegren. I don't think Carl Grundstrom's still up with the Marlies.
No.
If he is, okay.
I don't think he is.
What's some other guy? And then Kirby Reichel, who could have played with the Leafs, fringely, but he could have.
Yeah.
We didn't need him. We didn't need Valley of it all either.
No, you make that trade and you get Thomas McCann.
Yeah, exactly.
Tells you right there about the depth of this team and how much talent they have in their organization. Now,
From years of drafting.
even though
Well.
I think Valiev and Kirby Reichel aren't going to be NHL players, that's just my personal opinion.
I think Kirby Reichel would be probably at the most third line,
Right.
but I don't think Valiev would.
No.
But I think Kirby Reichel has a shot.
And we got Thomas McCann possibly for a deep playoff run. So with that, with what I just said, what is the ceiling for this Leaf team? Now, I know round one is going to be the huge test, and that's why we all talk about this stupid playoff format.
Yeah.
And
Let's get past round one.
All three of the Atlantic Division teams, if they were in the Metro, would be first place.
Yeah. And I don't understand why they did it like this. I don't know. I hate the wild cards. I feel like number one team should face the 8th place, like
The actual 1 versus 8.
like back 4 years ago, and then they changed it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, I don't know what it is, but the Raptors, going back to their playoff format, they definitely have, again, quote-unquote, easier time than the Leafs, because the Leafs have to face either,
Tampa or Boston in round 1.
and that should be a
Those two
Eastern
are-
Conference Finals matchup or a second round match, not
Yeah.
a first round matchup.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, I think if the Leafs take on Boston and let's say they beat Boston,
Yeah.
you might have to play Tampa in round 2. The road to the Cup Finals, or whatever the Leaf fans are thinking, is really tough.
It's ridiculous in my opinion.
Now, if the Leafs get some miraculous help, they play Boston, they beat Boston, and Tampa somehow chokes, then
Right.
the Leafs are in the driving seat, really.
Yeah.
But you never know.
No.
It's playoff hockey.
Anything goes. Anything
Look
goes.
at the Leafs against Washington last year. Did anybody expect any of that? No. Did anybody expect the Leafs back in 2013 to win 3 of 4 or 3 of what? To lose the series 4-3 to Boston?
We're going to be swept.
We thought we were going to get swept because we hadn't beaten Boston in forever. You never know. The playoffs are a different beast.
And even if we face Tampa, it's a different beast, and we could up beating Tampa.
Yeah. I mean, the Leafs were, they barely lost to Washington last year.
And Washington was
We understand.
President's Trophy, yeah.
We understand the playoff stupidity from the Capitals, but we know that they are the Washington Capitals, period, and that's that. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, again, they weren't in the playoffs last year. They still have a lot of young guys who haven't had playoff experience on that team. So it's going to be quite an interesting end of the season,
Very interesting
and it's
end
going
of
to
the
be a
season.
very fun playoffs.
hugely fun. But
Hopefully not just one round, though.
no. But let's just hurry up and clinch. God damn it! You know what I mean?
I know. I feel like we've been talking about how close we've been to clinching for like a
I
couple
know
weeks now, and it's killing me.
Yes.
Now, next Leaf game is Wednesday against Florida. I know you'll be at that game.
I'll be at that game.
And I don't know if
it's a team. Florida's 1 point behind New Jersey for the final wild card spot. And they're going to be same thing with Denver with the Raptors. They're going to be feisty. They're going to be damn well hard to play against.
Yep.
The Leafs got to take care of business. The Leafs are close to 20 points over Florida. I'm pretty early. 15 points.
It's only 12.
It's only 12.
Yeah. Because they've been playing really well.
Florida, okay, 12 points. But still, it doesn't matter. Like, the Leafs have to take care of business.
I'm not sure.
The Florida Panthers.
I'm not sure if they beat them, they'll clinch. I'm not sure if that's how it works.
I'm pretty sure. I know we're very close.
Yeah, I just want this done and over with.
I do too.
Honestly, it's killing me.
Okay, so you got Florida tomorrow, Wednesday, and then now it's a back-to-back. So the Islanders are out. I don't understand what's going on with the Islanders. They were in a playoff spot about maybe 10 games ago, then they just faltered. Well, it's a team you got to beat. And then on Saturday night, back-to-back, you have probably one of the toughest teams in the league.
This is going to be one heck of a game on Saturday.
Winnipeg, and I don't know if we're playing at home or not.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so
we are at
that
home.
works in favor. I don't like Winnipeg, but it's a team you have to beat against a very, very strong offense and an extremely strong defense, but I don't know if their goaltending can hold up. But
well, Connor Hellebuck's been great.
And then you have Buffalo on next Monday.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. It's a stretch. You got to beat the Islanders. First of all, you have to beat the Florida Panthers.
With hockey, it's weird because whenever we say we got to beat these teams,
it's puck luck, really.
You never really know. Because the Leafs lost to Buffalo. They beat the snot out of Montreal.
They beat Nashville, for Christ's sake.
You beat Nashville and you lose to Buffalo. It's hockey.
And yeah. So you can't look too much into it. You just got to go out there and play your style of hockey. But there's no doubt about it. The Leafs have to smarten up a little bit. Question?
Yeah. So going over to the Metro, the Pittsburgh Penguins could have the easiest opportunity to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Really?
Washington, they're not as good as they were. And plus Pittsburgh just outplays them always in the playoffs.
Well, Pittsburgh would play.
I know they played Columbus in the first round. But we've seen what they did to them last year. Yeah. And then you go Washington round 2. Well, Pittsburgh always beats Washington, and there you go. They're right in the conference finals.
But like I said about Washington, is that the spotlight isn't on them, so you could see Washington upset Pittsburgh.
Well, you never know, I guess.
You never know,
but really,
but I know what you're saying.
You look at it from that standpoint, the Leafs have a ridiculous path to the conference finals.
So New Jersey would face Tampa Bay, and then Philly would face Washington and they struggled. Was it 2 years ago?
Or something like that. Yeah. Well, it was all because Michael Neuwirth was a freak.
And that fourth line with Ryan White, Nick Cousins, and Belmar. That was hard.
A grindy ass line. But anyways, gonna get away from that because that's history. But for the Leafs, just got to keep playing.
All I gotta say is take care of business. Throwing Komarov if he's healthy, in my opinion. Andreas Jansson's looked good, but you got to go with your old guys. So throw him in there if he's healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's what we got to do. And I mean, the Leafs' next game, like we said, is Wednesday tomorrow against Florida.
I don't think he'll be.
You want to get back in the win column. You want to play better, a good. The Leafs didn't play bad against Buffalo. They outplayed them. Like that against Florida, I think you'll do a good job because Florida's goaltending as of late has not been very good.
No, but it's Robbie Lou in net.
You never know. You really.
Thank goodness it's not Reimer though.
Oh yeah, because he'd probably get a shutout against us or something. Yeah. But
anyways,
that was weird. We said at the same time.
Same thing like I don't know what word we.
Yeah, we said something in the last podcast at the exact same time.
But Jays are
2 days away.
2 days away from opening pitch against the Yankees.
Yeah, on Thursday afternoon, 3:37, first pitch there. It's Jay Happ. I would assume it's be against.
You said that you're not streaming that.
Right, I won't be able to stream that game because I work obviously at the time, so I won't be able to stream the opening game.
But the second game you said, right?
Well, again, we'll kind of play it by ear and see how it goes. I'm not exactly sure what's going to be going on.
Sounds good.
But
so So okay, so out of the spring training, what would you grade the Blue Jays spring training as a whole?
You know, if you're record wise, not great.
No.
But if we're looking at in general,
overall,
I think it's pretty good.
No, like grading.
Like B plus, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I gotta say it's like between a B and a B plus.
Okay.
You know, we didn't see anything sporadic. We didn't see like.
But you saw the rookies perform.
Yes, we did. And Vladdy Jr. Bo Bichette obviously got.
He wore his dad's number.
Yeah, that was really cool last night.
Yeah, he
that
wore
was
his dad's
very
number.
cool last night.
He actually tweeted, "Thank you, Blue Jays organization, for letting my son wear my because it's retired, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, and you know, it was a really,
Is he
really
gonna wear
cool
it,
feeling.
Throughout the season, probably.
I don't know.
27.
I mean, I'm not sure. He won't be with the Jays this year, but
No.
and I don't think you'll see him at all this year.
Has he officially been sent down?
No, he is in Montreal right now, playing with the Blue Jays and their affiliate. Like, well, not their affiliate. What am I talking about? They're playing like in the final tune-ups for the season. Vladdy and Bo Bichette are with the Jays in Montreal, and I think they're there today as well. And they'll head to New Hampshire to start their season with the Fisher Cats in Double-A. And I think that's where they're going to start. And I think depending on how
What
they
a great
do,
name, Fisher Cats.
oh, it's a pretty cool name. Okay. But with this team, you know, there's been a few surprises. A guy like Jaime Garcia, who's locked up the 5th spot in the rotation, I think he well deserved, because this guy has been striking out everybody in the spring.
Really?
I mean, it's weird. Coming into the season, I'm thinking, okay, this guy, you know, he's going to be, what, a 3-4 earned run average. He's going to be all right. You know, he's going to do his thing. But in the spring, you know, in his spring starts, he, where are we here? You know, he pitched 1 inning. No, that was where he screwed up in his first inning. They went 3 innings in the game against Detroit, 3 hits, 1 walk, struck out a couple guys. You go to the next game against the Phillies, 5 hits, 2 hits, or 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. And then in his last game against the Tampa Bay Rays, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts.
That's nuts.
Now, bottom line, he has given up 2 hits in his 3 starts. He's given up 1 run in his 3 starts, and has walked 1 guy. Or sorry, 2 runs. But yeah.
Blue Jays secures number 5th starting job.
Absolutely, well deserved.
He was a free agent.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, it was a one year deal at like $7 million, $8 million, basically nothing, and he could be a very good piece to this team.
Yeah, and plus, as a veteran, why not show the young kids how it's
A veteran lefty. Can't go wrong with it, especially if he's going to give you some
What's
good
your
innings.
opinion on Sung Won Oh on?
Well, he hasn't pitched a lot. He pitched the 1 inning, I think it was, in the spring because he had his visa. That was a whole deal. No, it's good now. He pitched 1 inning, and he was clean inning, no problem there. So
not bad though.
I mean, I like what the team's done, and they added the surprising John Axford, Canadian John Axford, who has been. I think he's going to make the bullpen out of camp. I can't see why not. But he's been terrific. So with this team 2 days away from opening day, it's been. I mean, obviously tomorrow I'm doing the season preview, so we don't want to talk too much about
there's
that.
Not a whole lot to talk about with the Jays, but that will stop next podcast because then we can Jays games
4 or 5 games deep. So
there you go. So there you go. But again, not a whole lot to talk about with the Jays, but again, guys, questions were always appreciated. Send your questions about the Blue Jays if you have any. To James's Twitter or our Twitter. But
and one thing,
anything else to add?
Yeah, Josh Donaldson and Devin Travis, both guys did not make the trip to Montreal. Now Donaldson is feeling a little sore, and I get that, but also they're playing on this turf they never play on.
Astro turf?
Yeah. Well, in Montreal, it's a different turf, so you don't really. And Donaldson has said that over the years, after they're done their trip with Montreal, he usually feels generally sore. And obviously, Devin Travis being out for a long time last year, and really. I mean, the question I have is, do they need to be there?
No, because
exactly.
Spring
They don't.
Training, and that doesn't.
They've had a lot of spring training already. They've played
you know
quite a bit.
what you're getting with those two guys.
You know what you're getting from Donaldson. You know what you're getting from Devin Travis if they're healthy.
Question for you: how many home runs do you think
Donaldson?
JD?
Oh boy. Well, it all depends. Again, it all depends if he stays healthy. But if he is, I think he can hit 40.
Rogue?
He had what? He had like 34 or something last year, and he missed quite a bit of games.
He is capable, but you know.
Look, my personal opinion is if this team can have a healthy Devin Travis and a healthy starting rotation, the sky is the limit. And I saw something from Kendrys Morales nickname for him K-Money.
I like that. I like that.
Last year I was saying, you give that guy a curveball down low and a fastball upstairs, and it's over. He's striking out, swinging right through it.
Like a
Former Justin Smoke.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Like a former Justin Smoke.
Can he bounce back this year?
I saw in Montreal, the guy's wearing glasses now. That tells me that he had some vision issues, and I'm like, well, that kind
And you
of
just figured it out this season?
that kind of solves something. Then maybe he was having some issues last year seeing the baseball. And what I saw in one at bat from Kendrys Morales is money. It is music to my ears and, well, more or less my eyes, but that just would sound weird.
Yeah.
Kendrys Morales, first off, he took a curveball low and didn't even look like he was going to chase it at all. And this guy is a pull hitter. That's why they play him in the hardcore shift, as they did Big Papi all the time. Because, he's a pull hitter, that's just that. He slapped a single the opposite way in the same at bat. I'm like, wait, what?
So was this the problem? Was this the problem about him? See, off the field, I know you haven't been obviously around any Blue Jay players off the field, but I wonder off the field if he wore glasses.
I don't know.
If he wore them with reading, if he's farsighted, nearsighted, I don't know. But good for him, he finally figured it out because he struggled last season. He struggled, yeah.
Home runs wise and that kind of stuff. He wasn't all that
And we
bad.
signed
but
him
striking out was
for
a joke. 3 years. He's going to be turning 35 fairly soon. So
Well, yeah, but we got him for the sole fact that we lost Edwin,
yeah.
right? So, and that hasn't worked out last season, but who knows?
Well, because we talked it all year long about the loss of Edwin and Kendrys Morales just having holes in his swing.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant about the whole curveball, fastball deal.
Right.
There was just ways of getting him out. With Edwin, you really didn't have that.
Yeah.
Now, if Kendrys Morales, with these new form glasses or whatever, they change that, man, he could be a force to this offense. So, I mean, this team, with the addition of Randall Grichuk, who's going to have a great power season with the Jays at the Rogers Center, with Donaldson, with a healthy Devin Travis, hopefully at some point, a healthy Troy Tulowitzki, and Solarte's been great. Diaz is going to do their thing. Russell Martin's going to do his thing. I think Teoscar Hernandez has to make the team out of camp. I think he was 2 for 2 again yesterday with a triple. He's got to make the team. Pilar's been great. Granderson's been... I don't know. With a healthy team, I think this Blue Jay team, the sky's the limit. So, right, I'm going to stop it there, because now we got a few questions here before we wrap this baby up.
Yes. All right, Stephen W. With the Raptors getting defeated by the Cavs at Quick Loans Arena,
right,
do you believe the Raptors are going to win the East, or is it still going to be the Cavs in the finals again? And, well, second part of this... Actually, no.
The
first part of this question.
Okay.
So... we all know the Raptors' struggles against the King, and it doesn't help when you're facing them in Quick Loans Arena.
I think it's going to be interesting because, like I said, remember when we talked about Boston, Cleveland, Boston is the upcoming schedule. Well, you play Cleveland in Cleveland. So that's going to tell you right there. What if the Raptors come out and beat Cleveland in Cleveland?
Well, it's not...
And then that, the whole spiel about that is kind of diminished a little bit.
Exactly. And the Cavs, you can never count out the Cavs when it comes to the playoffs. Because the regular season doesn't mean as much
Bottom
to the
line,
Cavs.
LeBron scares the living tar out of me as he does everybody.
It's going to be interesting what he's going to do with his new toys with Clarkson, Larry Nance, and Rodney Hood. Right? So, honestly, I do believe that the Cavs can make it back to the finals again. As painful me to say that, I do believe LeBron. I don't want it to happen, but to be realistic, I feel like they can. Second part of this question, will the Warriors win the West even with their injuries? Because Steph Curry has a... I think he...
no, not ACL.
No.
Sprained ankle or something.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Sprained MCL or something like that. I actually think that's what it was.
Well, with their depth, let me just quickly go here to the...
Oh, you're going to the Golden State roster or Cleveland?
No, Golden State here.
Okay.
Because the injuries, you got Steph Curry.
They're
Draymond Green's out.
Kevin Durant,
and Klay Thompson.
They're all out. That's why they lost their last game against. I
tough.
forgot who it was.
With 4 superstars hurt, it's going to be difficult.
Well, it's going to be interesting. We can't say that. It's hard to say how the playoffs are going to go.
I can't see them winning the West with all 4 of their star players out.
For now. We don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. We don't know.
But it's just about the West and them winning the West, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But to answer your question, I don't believe that they're going to win the West, but you never quite...
Yeah, you never really know because, I mean, the Golden State Warriors are a freak. They always are, and they're probably going to get some guys healthy when it comes to that, because Steph Curry's going to miss the first round. That's been guaranteed already.
Has it?
Yeah, it's been guaranteed that he's going to miss the first round. But I mean, really, if they have any of the other guys, they'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
But again,
Steven, to answer your question, I still believe the Cavs could push to the finals
until somebody dethrones the king. I think he is always going to be the favorite.
Yeah. And then I don't believe that the Warriors, with their injuries, will win the West. I think Houston's going to take
That's a lot of injuries to try and... I mean,
I could say if it was 1 or 2 guys, but it's 4. It's KD.
You're basically your whole starting rotation.
Pretty much.
That's really what it is.
4 to the 5 guys, right?
Yeah.
So, but all right. Well, anyways, we're gonna.
That's about wrapping this baby up.
Episode 5 up. Again, send your questions every Tuesday. We're doing this. If you haven't already known, podcast is going to be on iTunes as well, and the main channel.
Yeah. Well, no,
the podcast channel. Sorry,
the podcast channel. Where this is going to be uploaded. The link is going to be in the description for this for iTunes. And obviously the link to the main channel as well.
So
go check that out.
Subscribe to James's main channel and to the podcast channel, so you don't miss a single thing. And turn on the bell.
Yeah. But turn those notifications on there, people. Then you'll be able to know what's going on.
And smash that like button.
Yeah, just destroy that like button.
Just hit it.
Just smack it right there. So thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it, and we will talk to you next Tuesday. And obviously, with that being said, the Jays will be starting their spring training. The Raptors will be in the midst of that Cleveland stretch.
So James is going to be flipping a lot of jerseys.
It is going to be nuts. I'm going to need a coffee in my hand.
Yet he's drinking water right now, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to need a coffee at that time.
Or a French vanilla. It's the same thing.
It doesn't matter, really. But, so we'll talk to you. I mean, it's going to be a doozy of a one next podcast, hopefully. Because obviously we'll be talking about the Winnipeg and Leafs game as well. So it's just going to be a nuts one. It's going to be crazy.
We're going to be happy because the last 2 podcasts we were not.
It's been a little depressing.
Just a tad.
So I don't want to have to go through that again. So we'll talk to you guys then, and I'll talk to you guys later tonight, I guess. As like we've been talking about, the Raptors need to beat the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it.
Hit those subscribe buttons.
Smack all of it
on Twitter.
Follow on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube the podcast channel. Smack that like button. Go subscribe on iTunes. Do all that kind of great stuff.
And we will talk to you.
Evan and I will talk to you guys on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Peace.